Chaim.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just address your issue.
Oh, what's the issue? So
go ahead.
I put in a request. There's a lot of parallel that the people draw between, the way the Greeks were trying to override the Jewish culture with their culture, and how in America nowadays it's American culture.
It's the same goals.
So I wanted to say that it's not so simple. The Yavon, by the period of the Yavanim, it was very much, separate, divide, and conquer. But in America, I think the divide is not so simple. There's more of a uvikashta misham, that it's utilization.
What's uvikashta misham?
We actually spoke about this. Uvikashta misham during Aseret Mei Tshuva.
Right.
What does it mean?
Uvikashta misham Chanukah is it's a tzita. Rav Nachman speaks live about tziva. Hashem says in Zman of Galus that from the place where you are in Galus, you will seek Hashem your God, and you will find Him if you seek Him with all your heart and all your soul. Not about escaping and dividing and separating and then, I'm in the right place. It's going through and finding Hashem minei ubei within.
I think it's different avoid the time of the Greeks who Maamar had to go against them.
Divide and conquer.
Over here, it's the avoid that is from where we are.
Fine. Okay. I accept the challenge. I will address that.
Okay.
Chaim. Amen. Okay. Fine. So now it is very interesting that what the Yevonim, when we express what they did in the most sur, as an example, ufortzu, homicide, they broke in. They broke in, the towers, and the walls. Talking about, they broke in, they. That's of course, we know the whoever wrote the Moshe, which is very ancient. It's very old. Right? So the Chomos Migdalai, so it's probably alluding to the famous Medrash that on Shir Hashem, Ani Choma v'Shadai Kamigdalos, Ani Choma Zu Torah. V'Shadai Kamigdalos is the Rabbanan, so it's a reference to Torah, but it's they broke in. Now there's the Mishnah says Maseches Midas that after you get into the basic perimeter of Har HaBayis, then there's another perimeter called the Sorag. There's like another fencing around the base of Mikdash, and the Yevonim were Poretz Yud Gimel Pirtzas. They broke in on 13 entry, and when the Chashmonaim reconquered and they sealed up those breaches, they were metaken. You have to be mishtachave wherever you face one of those breaches. It's halacha. So it's again this idea of pirza. They broke in, and then there was a special halacha in the day, because they started using the base of Mikdash again, going Aliyah Lorego after they renovated it. You go connected one of those pirzas where the Yevonim broke in, you have to bow. Even though they sealed it up, still, if historically there was a breach there, you bow. What's the catch, right? So it's called. And now it's interesting, the Rambam in the Moreh Nevuchim, when talking about how the Yevonim, even the philosophers who were before the Hellenistic period, that they speculate about what God can do, what God can't do. They want to use their logic to even, they thought logic is an absolute and whatever comes up logical for what should also be binding on God, and which led them to why they couldn't understand Bria Yesh Me'ayin, because it's not logical, because God always was there and always wanted to create. So there must have always been a world, because God doesn't change, And the Rambam says very interesting lashon. Hit partzuta filosofim klapishim hit partzum, the way they broke forward, with their minds, they broke, pirza, right? Same lashon, the idea of break-in entry, whether you do it with your body, whether you do it with your mind, and that's a davar nifla to be in this error on, right? That it's called we sum up what they did, that they were poets, right? Now, why they made Yud Gimel Pirtzas, we have limited time, but I'll discuss this another time. It's Marsh beside that 60 years earlier for Talmi HaMelech, another Greek king from the Egyptian era, they changed 13 things in the Sefer Torah to accommodate him. And Mamash Keneged that put koch in the klipa that 60 years the Assyrian Greeks, Greeks broke in 13. But I can't, just dropping a nugget there, dropping a nugget. Okay, but I just want to get into the Etzem Adover that's called Pirza, right? That they broke in. And with this, we can understand a little bit of why they legislated against Shabbos. They defiled the Beis HaMikdash, and they legislated against Shabbos. And these two things are always mentioned. Mikdashi Tiro, Shosasai Tishmor, Mikdashi Tiro, Ani Hashem. The whole Nachsa Shabbos are learned out from a Hekesh to Binyan HaMishkan. The two are very parallel. One is in space, one is in time. Right? And we also get into the side of why it is that, almost always, it's very rare, just almost always, Miketz is Shabbos Chanukah. Almost always. There's a very big, nice remez in the Chalom of the Shibolim. The good grids were. Last year was the issue, right? Yeah, last year was a weird year. Things were off. Now, generally, no, it was off last year. Everything was off last year. Shem should help us, right? But a very nice, but most often it Miketz always, and when it's a double, because the first day of Hanukkah is Friday night, so it's Vayeshev Miketz. But Miketz always, except something weird happened last year. It was Vayigash, I think is what you meant to say. Right, it's Vayigash, right? That's rare. Like everything was off. So the remez of Kedo, the Chalom Par, the Sheva Shibolim Olos Bekana Echad. Right, Echad Gematria 13, a remez to what we were talking about. Another nugget, but what did it look like? Sheva Shibolim Olos Bekana Echad. 7 stalks, 1 stem. A menorah. Right. Yeah, no, okay, but right. No. Right. 7 coming out of 1, Bekana Echad. It's a menorah. Right. Okay.
Very nice. Very nice. There's there's
that's my own, but it's all the Drushim L'Chanukah and all the Svarim on Parshas Miketz. So now, okay, but what I want to say, the Lashon Miketz is a weird Lashon. Say La'achar Shnasayim Yom, at the edge of 2 years. So the Medrash is bothered by it, and the Medrash goes on and says, and shtos to the pasuk, Kates Sam Lachoshech, because we'll put a edge to darkness. And so Medrash said, amazing thing. There was a limit to how long you could keep, Yosef in the slumber. Like the Bria, the Cosmos wouldn't tolerate it more than 2 years. More than 2 years after the Chalom, right? There's a case. Darkness has an edge. It has an edge. It has a katzeh. As an edge. And the Medrash goes on to say that also in the big picture, Keish Sam Lachoshech, Shisha Alfeshnin, 6,000 years is the most that there could be any rot, darkness, and all it represents in the world. It has an edge. It's already predetermined that, the 7th millennium, Chad Choruv, and Sof El Shan, Kosh Cholzim Char Sholamo, Keish Sam Lachoshech. The darkness has a limit. So now, Shtel Datsu with the famous Medrash Rabbah in Parshas Bereishis that darshans the Tov, Havo, Choshech, and Tahom connected the 4 evil empires. Choshech Zu Yavan. So Choshech Yavan. So Kates Sam Lachoshech. There's also a remes to Chanukah because Yavan is called Choshech. It has an edge. It ends somewhere. It ends. It's in a box. So as bad as things are, it's contained in a box. It's not mispashet throughout space and time. It has a katzeh. So where is its katzeh? Where are the edges?
No.
Right, 2 places. The Beis HaMikdash, because that area is kodesh. Choshech can only be where there's chol. Because Kodesh is Kulo Or. So in Makom, it's the Beis HaMikdash. It's Kodesh, right? And in Zman, it's Shabbos. And that's how the Svarim say that, that the Adam Rishon did not see darkness until Motzei Shabbos. That's to invent fire then. That's why Bekmar right? So if the sun, if there was light from Friday morning until Motzei Shabbos, 36 hours, right? right? 36 hours, and that's the sort of the 36 candles we light during Hanukkah, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, right? Shabbos is Kula Or, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh. Their stuff is Chol, right? And the darkness could only exist in Chol, not in Kodesh, right? So where their world ends in space is the Beis Hamikdash, and in time it ends at Shabbos, because Shabbos is Kodesh, right? Right, it's Kula Or. There's a 36 hours, for our friends, it's Kula Or, no Choshech, right? And that's the side that, connected defiling the Beis Hamikdash, which they couldn't tolerate. It's like there's something beyond, right? They're within a box, and we have this thing that's beyond the edge of the gates of Choshech, beyond the edge. We're over the edge in a place where everything they say ends. We mentioned the Mor Nevuchim before. The Rambam has a very beautiful mashal when he comes to explain Bria Yesh Me'ayin, right? And why all the kashas of the Yevonim aren't good kashas on the Yesh Me'ayin. But he gives them a mashal to understand how something could be true only within a certain box. But outside of the box, the whole thing is batal. He says the following story, which he writes. He gets a mashal. Says a bunch of men were shipwrecked with a kid. One child traveling with a bunch of adult men, big intellectuals. They're shipwrecked on an island, and they, and then whatever, they're able to survive, but they, it's enough coconuts and bananas, whatever. But they got to keep themselves busy until they get rescued. So they say, you know what? I know physics, I know biology. We're going to teach everything over this kid. We're going to give the world a prodigy, right? Everything we know, we're going to spend our time teaching this kid. We're going to give the world a super scholar whenever we're rescued. Okay. So this guy teaches him physics. This guy teaches him anatomy, teaches him biology, and they teach him, right? And then one day, the child asked the question, where do people come from? All right. So they say, you better sit down for this one, right? And they explain to him about this thing you've never seen before. It's called a woman. And, first, the zera goes in, and first it's just water. First 40 days ago, it's Maya Ba'alma, it's just water. And then it gradually grows a brain, and then the bones come afterwards, and lot, and then, of course, by the final trimester, it's upside down, and, all this stuff. So he thinks about it. He says, I'm going to kill you all. I'm going to kill you all. So what do? Because you lied to me. Because if what you said now is true, then everything you taught me is false, and everything is true, then everything now is false, and maybe once I can't trust you, I'm going to kill you all. So what happened? So, you say it's Maya Ba'alma with no, I'd like to extract from your body all your bones and see how long you could last, right? You say for 9 months, no food, no water, no air, right? How? Right? You say there's this thing called the umbilical cord. Let me cut a hole in your stomach and stick in a pipe, see how long you survive, right? None of it works. None of it, right? And what's the issue? Because, it's a whole different biology inside the womb as opposed to outside the womb. Mm-hmm. So all the laws of regular biology end at the womb. And by the way, it's pushed to me that the Rambam had in mind the medrash at the beginning of Tazria, the Torah Isha Ki Tazria, all the flows of pregnancy. That just defies normative biology. It's all different set of rules. What's true, the laws of biology outside the womb come to an end in the womb, and vice versa. When it leaves the womb, all those laws no longer apply, right? Right, and he says that's what the Yevonim didn't understand. They thought that their logic and their culture is true everywhere. That's what they want to prove by breaking into the Beis. It's true here. They didn't want to defile the Beis Hamikdash. That would be just like an angry child. No, they want to bring their culture in and defile the gvul between pnim and chutz, right? And that's what they also couldn't take about Shabbos. Why they had to hang up with Mila and Chodesh, that's another shmooze. But Shabbos, that kilu, everything that's chayil and everything comes to an end. It's only all true, only within a box. And that was the ikar thing that they wanted to know what we think is true is true everywhere. 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 They were pirates. They were pirates, right? They break through. So now you understand why Chazal, Mida Keneged Mida, they didn't just push back. Right? They wanted to make a counter statement. They didn't just want to like stop the Yavanim. They wanted to push in the opposite direction, right? And therefore, you can now understand the word that where they broke in, they were metakim to be mishtachaveh. What's mishtachaveh? You curl over on yourself, meaning the line doesn't continue. It curls over on itself. There's no hemshech. It curls over, right? When you reach the edges of where something is true, so the truth curls over on itself, it can't go further, right? And that's also why, they tried to bring the chayil into the kodesh, broke in. So what's the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah? Mitzvah la'anicha, al Pesach beso bachutz, right? We bring the light from the in out. They tried to bring the out in, and we bring the light from in out. So it's dafka din on the bias, like we said. We spoke this out earlier today, because the house is inner space, which is in a higher dimension. That's what the house is, and it's in every Jewish house. Zachu shchina shruya b'neihem, right? So it's not that they tried to bring the outside in. We say the or of the bias has to be within the tefach. You're not even samach and lavud. The or of the bias is mashpia b'chutz, right? That we didn't just stop them, we pushed in the opposite direction to bring the or of pnim lachutz, right? And that's very important for the tikkun of finally that the chutz should be elevated and in service of the pnim. And that's the end of Shechem. I'll say very quickly, right? That all these parshas we have Shechem. That's where Yosef got sold. That's where Dinah got raped, right? And we know that Shechem is Rosh Tevis Shem Kavod Malchusa. Now there's a categorical difference between shame versus kavod and malchus. Shame is the name of something, is its essence. That was the chachma of Adam Marishan, that he knew what everything should be called because he saw its essence. The malachim couldn't see its essence. Right, and that's why every day it's not his name and its lashon hakodesh is its spiritual DNA. These iris that are connected, these iris make this thing. It's its essence. It's its pnim. Kavod is external. You get it from outside. Malchus could be external. Ein melech below am. Although Malchus does subdivide, there's internal affairs and external affairs, and that's between Yehuda and Yosef. Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben Yosef. Yosef external affairs. Right, Yehuda internal affairs. That's why Yehuda could sit in the Beis Hamikdash. Right, because they're connected internal affairs. Yosef connected external affairs. The wars Mashiach ben Yosef will wage. Klapei Yosef going out to Mitzrayim. There's foreign affairs and there's domestic affairs. That's how Malchus. So it says originally by there's Shem ben Noach and there's Yefes, who's beauty. Shem is connected to the essence. Yefes is beauty. That's external. And it says, Ve'asimu al Shechem shnehem. On their joint shoulder, they clothed Noach. And then Noach sets up, Yaftel Kimli Yefes, V'yishkon b'lei Shem. Shem has the tent. He's on the inside. And he's Yefes, he's Yofi. And from there we learn halacha that you could express outward. Svarim b'lashon Yavonis. Yaf Yuso Shesbil b'lei Shem. Shem got the inside, and Yefes got the outside. And Shechem represents the tension point between in and out. And that's what Shechem also is geographically. Dinah, she went out and she got raped. The in goes out. That's the tension point. That's the border between in and out, right? And that's where they sold Yosef out, right? And that's also where the Malchus was nechlak, because the Malchus of Beis David and the Malchus of Yosef are internal affairs versus external affairs. That's their split. And the tikkun is that we do want to elevate the external world to make it in service of the kedusha, but without blurring the boundaries. Greece wanted to blur the boundaries; they want to break over the katzeh. America may not be trying to do that, to break the katzeh, but keep them separate. Right. But that's what it's saying. So now, and the nevuah lost level. This will end. Is now you understand the pasuk in Tzfanya. Oz efoch kol amim Sonia suffer board. I'm going to speak out. Likro kulam b'shem Hashem. The shem will be only Shem Hashem, which is the base Hashem, the Shakich Mosham. Right? Everyone will agree. B'shem Hashem ula avdo shechem echad. Ken Yerotze.